Greetings, it is Gangsta in the Oracle, and I am going to share some information with you about the new mini course we got going on. It's called the Sacral Camp. Okay, this is just like the root camp we did for the root chakra and healing inner child wounds, and now we're moving on up. We're doing the sacral chakra now. Now, I know some of y'all like, I don't know if I need that. I'm share a few things with you when we go see whether or not you need that. Now, if you have realized that your relationships present mirror conditions and patterns from your childhood experiences, whether that was betrayal, whether that was abandonment, maybe your inner child wound was being a perfectionist, right? If you don't know these things about yourself, what your inner child wounds are, it's going to make relationships more difficult to navigate because ultimately you don't know what you're dealing with. We are a whole microcosm, okay, of the macrocosm. You are everything you see in space put inside of a human body. That's like trying to put the whole ocean in a shot glass. And we're compressed. So as the awakening is loosening us and as Betelgeuse is exposing the demons that we have ignored, right? And the wounds that have festered as we're going through that, it's showing up in our relationships. Maybe you find yourself being afraid of intimacy. And I'm not talking about physical intimacy, sex. Because a lot of us have learned how to cut off the emotional attachment. And sex just became a physical activity we did when we wanted to, for whatever reason we wanted to do it. But it had nothing to do with intimacy. So, are you in a space where you feel like you lack creativity and you don't really have a different approach to problems in life? Maybe situations with your partner, maybe situations with your own self and how you treat yourself. You're trying to figure out how to get out of this sunken place, but you don't quite know how to do it and where to begin. And maybe you get frustrated because you try something and you think that's going to be the thing that's going to help you, and you feel like nothing works. And it seems like it worked for everybody else but you. So you're trying to be creative, and it just seems like it's just not getting you anywhere. Maybe if you're the kind of person, you, like me, became the rescuer. That's my inner child wound. And I want to save everybody. I want to rescue everybody. But sometimes I won't even stop to rescue and save myself. Maybe you have noticed that you are codependent. Codependent on toxic relationships, actually. And our relationships are going to have some type of dysfunction. So let me be clear about that. When I say toxic relationship, I mean like the relationship that you have with a relative, even though you know it's toxic and you know that they only call you for money and you know that that's the only interest that they have in any conversations with you, and it's always something, or somebody always talks about you behind your back. But you keep spending time with them and hanging out with them and being there for them when they call you just because it's a relative. That's another form of codependency. And that shows up a lot, especially in black and brown families. We got these unspoken rules in black and brown families that you're supposed to do anything for your family, even if your family is doing anything to you, including harming you. And, that's not self-love. That's not self-love. And these are the sneaky little things that slipped in on us that is now causing a lot of issues in our lives. Maybe you realize that you give out more energy than you receive. So you're lacking the connection with intimacy with your I divine self, because the more connected you are with your I divine self, the more that you see you are enough, and the more that you see your worth it increases, right? And what happens is You don't even feel the need to overcompensate to try to prove to people that you care for them. Because that's what I used to do. I was an energy giver. I wasn't an energy receiver. If you tried to give me money or tried to help me or anything like that, I'd be like, no, I'm okay. I make it. I'm okay. No, I'm fine. I'll figure something out. And it wasn't always discernment. It was just a pattern where I did not feel safe receiving help from people. Because in the past, most people that helped me had another motive. They had an ulterior motive or another intention, or it set me up for them to expect me to do something for them later. And sometimes it was something that I really didn't feel comfortable doing or didn't want to do. And I would say, yeah, out of being a people pleaser and a yes person, because that's how I kept myself safe growing up. That was my conditioning as a child, to not be the kid that's getting in trouble, but be the kid that's helping, rescuing, and trying to make the home as peaceful as possible. That was me. So I was an energy giver, and it led to me having adrenal fatigue, having chronic fatigue, being completely burnt out, and having autoimmune issues on top of many other things that I'm still dealing with now. So with the sacral camp, if I didn't cover you in any of this conversation, I'm sure that we will, because I feel like this is touching everybody. And I think the fear of love and receiving love is what keep us stuck, and of not being able to love ourselves, because you feel like you're flawed. And as a kid, because before the awakening, most of us didn't know that we had other personalities, other parts of ourselves. We didn't know that we had false self mask that we use to keep us safe. That's whatever the matrix avatar you take on out in the world is based on your inner child wounds. So, if you hadn't did the root camp, it's just a 10-day mini course, but it is jam-packed with so many activities and exercises. There is no way that you're not going to be able to get more intimate with yourself. Unless it's not time. You're just not ready, But I wanted to break it down like this because I realized that it's so much happening right now. It can be overwhelming really easily. So I wanted to be short and simple and to the point. There are so many other things that I could go over right now about this, but I do want to say this. A lot of us, what we're seeing right now is just the conditions that you experienced growing up, and they just mirroring themselves back to you, giving you an opportunity to work it out, giving you an opportunity to make adjustments, right? And the thing where one of the things happened to me, and it made me see how toxic codependency really was. And that was my inability to stop ruminating about how other people may feel about the decisions that I make. I would ruminate and ruminate and ruminate. To be honest with you, if I would not have started recovering from codependency, I wouldn't have started the business, because I knew that I was going against the grain. I knew that I was introducing something into the simulation of what we call reality on the planet that people hadn't experienced before. And so I was really nervous about that. And my message is really different than most people. I have a message of no judgment, but a message of learning how to use intuition and discern. And so for some people, they thought that those things were the same things. They thought that God and the devil were two different things, when really they're just two sides of a coin. They thought that angels were these beings outside of us and not angles of consciousness, of light that we have access to within our own psyche. So I knew that because I was taking everything outside of us that we've been interacting with and taking people within to connect with what was inside of them. So I had to stop worrying about what people were going to say or do because of what my soul is here to do. And because truth be told, that was never none of my business in the first place. Like how people feel about me, that's their right. And I'm not going to invade people's privacy. And then on top of that, start switching up how I live my life based on the surveillance I think other people are saying and doing, and they may not be. All of these things connect back to the imbalanced bottom three chakras. We're just going to start there and work our way up. So maybe you are a highly sensitive person. If you are, 9 times out of 10, you have issues with being able to connect with your own self because you're feeling other people's energy so much and you don't know the difference between yours and theirs. It's really difficult. It would be like 15 people pouring a little bit of water in a glass, and then each person got to go in the glass and figure out which water was theirs and separate it. That's what it's like being an empath or a highly sensitive person, a chosen one, right? And you got all of these gifts coming online, but you don't know how to use it and what to do with it. So that was me. And I was so enmeshed and entangled, even in my relationship with Ernest, my emotions were so enmeshed and entangled with his, and I would attach to his unprocessed trauma. And in the inside of me, I'm trying to rescue what I see happening on the outside of me, thinking that it's my energy I'm working through when it was his. So a lot of these things really did inspire me to create 10-day courses just to work through some of these imbalances. So I'm going to be teaching more about this soon. The sacral camp is already in the works. My assistant and my team have been so helpful and giving me information and things to use and support. And I appreciate y'all so much. I say that shit because I mean that shit. I do. It's not enough appreciation going around. If we could get the amount of appreciation halfway to the level of judgment that be going around in our communities, the world will really begin to shift really quickly. And it's everybody want to be right. Everybody got to be right. And that's a fear of love. Because if you want to be right, there is no space for love to enter that home, because that home can only contain what you feel is right. So the kind of love that you may need may not feel right to you, but it might be exactly what you need. We put love in these cute little boxes and put bows on them, and we hadn't even did the inner work. Most people got in relationships and they didn't know that their personal attachment, their personal love attachment. Most people I talk to don't know. I ask them, what's your love attachment? And they ask me, what is that? So that is one of the most basic things that you can learn. There are so many other things that I could share, but just keeping this short, sweet, and simple. That's just one thing. So if you've been building relationships and you don't know these parts of yourself right now, because of Betelgeuse, because of Black Moon Lilith, and a few other astrological placements we're coming into, Mars is going to be in retrograde. That represents war, okay? Love is a battlefield. This is the time now to get your tools, to clean your shed out, get rid of the stuff that's no longer serving you, and get tools to put in the place that will serve you and help you and assist you. Okay? And as we are getting deeper into the age of Aquarius, we have a responsibility because we are becoming the guardians of the galaxy. And the responsibility that we have is to be able to have self-mastery, not seek to control the world or others, but have self-mastery over the microcosm inside of you, because eventually as we move through our soul's evolution, we will be the guardians of the galaxy. We will be future ascended masters and so many other things, archangels, It's so many things, and as crazy as it might sound to some people, I know a lot of people who are on this side of the awakening, like, yep, I feel that. That shit resonate. So the pressure is on. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and make y'all feel and enable y'all in y'all fuckery and tell you that the pressure not on. No, the pressure is on us. But what is the pressure on us teaching us? And right now, it's teaching us how to isolate our energy from others so that we can work through our shit. So that we can stop projecting and blaming on other people. As long as you are looking for somebody to blame, as long as you defend yourself and you get triggered easily and you spin off into getting defensive, you're pushing away the feminine love that is here to purge the subconscious, unconscious self. Because if you don't know what's inside of you, you are basically a walking meat suit for these entities that's coming into our dimension to use for all kinds of reasons. And sometimes they'll just hop in and walk in, could just use you for a few seconds or a few minutes to say some really, really foul, nasty shit. And now you've planted a seed in your relationship with yourself or someone else or a situation or with your dreams. And now you don't even feel like you can do it because you planted a seed with your words and you didn't realize how powerful you were because maybe nobody told you that you are a fallen star and that you are meant to be a guardian of the galaxy, right? So it's so many things that I could go into here. But I'm going through the lesson of being taught where to invest my energy. It's not many people who have did over 1,000 videos, hours and hours and hours long, hours of research for a span of since 2006 is how long I've been at it on this whole spiritual awakening journey. And, I'm tired. And so I take more time to take care of myself because my business is an extension of me. And if I am not taking care of myself, yet I am teaching and sharing tools for other people to do so, I am not doing anybody any justice. And I'm not okay with that, because I know what my soul planet is. And my Atmakarika, I know that I'm here to show people how to find their superpowers within their shadow self. That's what I'm here to do. And it's humbling. It's difficult. But I don't have not one regret. So for me, this business, it is the baby that I wanted to bring into this world. And so I want to make sure that I'm showing up in integrity with everything that I'm doing so that the experience that people have is of energetic integrity. And I believe that anybody who is listening to this, you desire the same thing, to have more energetic integrity, to not be afraid of love, and to have the tools necessary to rebuild the loving relationship beginning with yourself first that you desire to have, that you know that you are worth. But it's going to take some time, okay? Our people, I can't speak for other communities, but in the black and brown community, we have went through so much. So it's going to take some time. So the level of pain that we sometimes project onto each other, telling you that energies and archons and parasitic entities and thought forms, that doesn't excuse your responsibility. I'm just letting you know that it is multidimensional. And as a teacher, I study the multidimensionality of each thing that I am approaching to bring a tool in to assist us. So that's not fear porn, and that's not me trying to get you to do whatever it is I'm telling you to do, but that's just me keeping it 1,000 wild with you, as my sister Bliss would say. So, because I'm not gonna lie, this has happened to me. I had an energy sweep past me through these primordial waters that we're swimming in right now, this energy, and just real quick just popped off. And I was like, whoa. But because I practiced observing myself and stepping outside of myself, and because I had went and opened a lot of those secret compartments that had my repressed shadow aspects in them, and I worked through them, I know when it's me and when it's not me. I know when the energy is me and when it's not me. But a lot of people don't. And so it's more things that I could say about how the technology plays into this, what specific demons, gods, and angels, archetypal energies who are going into this, because I study the works of Carl Jung and many other things. So for me, I study everything on this planet. And that's how I create. Because for me, how are you going to reach anyone and offer them a fishing pole to catch their own fish, and you have only looked in one place? And it's like building a relationship by only reading one book. It's not going to be a successful foundation. And now that the veil is down, we see ourselves and the people around us in more, it's like we butt naked. The fig leaves got snatched off us. It was like, oh no, motherfuckers, y'all gonna stop hiding. You said you wanted to know how to love yourself unconditionally. Bow. Here it is. Love it unconditionally. You see them stretch marks and their roll and them dimples and them old mosquito bite scars from being outside all night long. Cause you know, all of that. It is like, okay, can you love that? Can you love that? Let's just start with the physical vessel you're in. Can you love the flaws? You know, and it started there with me. And I took the shadow aspects of myself from my conditioning, from all of the abuse that I've experienced, that I've been very transparent about, again, because I want to be the poster girl for no shame, you know, the poster goddess for no shame. Let me correct it. But my inner child do like for me to call myself a girl. But we've been through that, and it's okay. But guess what? You can transcend trauma. And not only can you transcend it, you can figure out what your soul purpose is and create a life that you never thought was possible with the tools that we've been sharing here. So if that resonates with you, and I had no idea I was going to talk for this long, but if that resonates with you, go to newverselive.com and see what all we got going on. And let me say this too, because I guess it's appropriate for me to go ahead and add a few other things in there that's happening. But with the scarcity, the poverty, the famine, the lack of medical, being able to get certain medical things done, it's almost difficult to figure out what to do next, because it is so much happening all at once, and there are a lot of people who have become vessels for walk-ins and these energies to take over them. There is a negative agenda here, and it's not always people-led. These interdimensional beings, you know, they despise humanity. And the thing that makes us so special, I know that the focus on the negative that's happening in the world is probably the highlight of most of our days, because it's shoved in our face 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It's like an episode that they live every day. And every advertisement or something you might happen to, you know, look at for a second, you see the real intention behind it. You know what I'm saying? That can be overwhelming, especially to those of us who are HSPs. highly sensitive persons. Is it intentional? Yeah. Is it something we can do about it? Yes. Are you ready? That's the question. So when we send out quizzes and questions, don't ignore those. It only takes a few minutes. Sit down and do that, because that helps us to know how to continue to curate what we put together for those who resonate with this level of spiritual awakening and want to access their I divine self and be more integrated with their shadow self. Okay, so that's happening, and it's going to keep happening, and it's not something to be afraid of. It's been happening. We just didn't know. And psychiatry has many different names to explain something that has a spiritual root. So whether it's bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, maybe you have high narcissistic traits, maybe you're codependent, maybe you're an empath, maybe you're more of a covert narcissist sometimes, maybe not all the time, maybe you deal with passive aggressiveness, maybe you have signs of a high functioning Asperger's person. If you go and look up any of these things that I'm talking about, because I have a playlist called Relationship 101 on YouTube. It has probably 3,000 to 4,000 videos, and I have watched every single one of them. No cap. And over the years, what I have learned is so profound. I know deep down in my bones that the work that we're doing, it is laying a foundation. So I want you to be encouraged. Though they are showing us the half of the glass that is empty, be encouraged. Because that half of the glass that has water in it, baby, that ain't just no regular water. You feel me? For people to have went through as much as we did and to still strive each day to be a better person, that alone is something that you should be celebrating yourself for. Having gangster gratitude for that. Let your gratitude get gangster. If the negativity and the fear and all that's happening, let your gratitude be gangster. If your family ain't got nothing but 4 potatoes and a loaf of bread, and you sitting there looking like, oh my goodness, I didn't want to get vaccinated and become a Jabberwocky, and now I have no job and we're barely making it. Have gangster gratitude for them few potatoes and that loaf of bread until you come up with a recipe so bomb, you upload that shit or share it with somebody. People like, thank you so much. Me and my family ate 2 days off of 3 potatoes and a loaf of bread because of the recipe that you shared. It's just a matter of your perspective. Can you look at what's in front of you and find something beneficial in whatever it is? And when you find that, the power is sit with it and absorb it. Don't be a rescuer like me. Because soon as I figure out the recipe, I ain't finished cooking it yet. And I done already made a video about it and got a whole course on the breakdown of why 3 potatoes and 1 loaf of bread is all you need to feed a family of 4 for 2 days. I ain't even finished. I ain't even put it on the plate yet. That's my shadow aspect, right? So whatever it is, practice finding gangster gratitude for it. And I know this video was supposed to just been about the sacred camp and the root camp we got going, but come on now, y'all. We can do this. We not new to this shit. We true to this shit. You know, we've been through hard times. Those of us who went through any form of poverty or abuse as a child, we agreed to that so that we will become the light in dark places when these things begin to happen on a mass level and not just in our houses or our communities and in our families. This is our time. This is the time where the first shall be last. And the last is becoming the first. This is the time, baby. And some of y'all out there, I'm not doing personal readings right now because of the amount of energy that it takes to do that and run the courses. Because a lot of this, I'm creating this day by day and building it as we go based on what's happening with the collective. Okay. So I know that I have a waiting list and I'm going to get to you. But for now, a lot of the things that I'm sharing and doing can assist you just as much as booking a personal reading with me. So I want to chime in and say that there. And for those of you who are on the waiting list that I already paid for your reading, you're going to be first. But there are a few things that I need to get in line and continue doing before I do that so that I am in full integrity with doing your reading. But as I was saying, this is the time for the people who have been on the bottom to move up, honey, baby, like the cream of the crop to the motherfucking top. Big pyramid shit. If you're new to the channel, you wonder why we be saying that, because we are laying foundations brick by brick. The generations will come and lay their bricks, and over time we will build pyramids of higher consciousness and anchoring energy on this planet that is necessary for our evolution. That's big pyramid shit. So that's what we doing. And the world right now is got me feeling so much gangsta gratitude for the hard times I experienced. Because this shit ain't shaking me. And I want to extend the tools to others. As far as relationships and our fear around intimacy, our difficulty trusting people, the miscommunication between the masculine and the feminine that seems to happen almost every day. I don't really know anybody in a relationship that haven't been having more disagreements than usual. That don't mean that the relationship is garbage. You just signed up for a class that you forgot you signed up for. That's all. So relationship 101. First class, how to get over your fear of love. This is a simulation. And we're like Sims. And we're here to have these experiences to learn and to grow. And I know just by you listening to me now and hearing this, you feel a level of relief you probably ain't been able to feel no other way. What is that? That's the resonance, baby. When a vessel works on, I apologize, y'all, I got a lot going on my other phones. But when a resonance is happening between two tuning forks, it's because that first tuning fork, once you strike it, and you can do this with your own tuning forks, and you put the other tuning fork adjacent to it, and it will vibrate at the same resonance of the other tuning fork. So when we talk about resonance, that's what that is. That there is a divine frequency, and you are a vibrational match for it, was ready for it, and it just came through, happened to have come through me. Or anybody else that you might get a resonant message through. That's what it's like. And so with us learning that everything in the universe is frequency, energy, and vibration, right? Holding this 369 structure, there is no way that this situation happening on a global level is not here to build us up. That's what it's here to do. So no matter what is happening, know that you had a soul contract. You agreed to experience exactly what you're experiencing. And if you want assistance in figuring out what that is, I got you, right? We got you. Because it's not just me and my whole team and the soul tribe on this planet. We've been rocking on some kumbaya shit, but we still keep it real and keep it honest and express our feelings, but we support each other and don't judge each other. And everybody told me it was impossible. And of course, we're going to have one or two who might spaz out every blue moon, but that's okay. That's normal, right? So and again, whether you do the mini course or not, the root camp, the sacral camp is there. We have so many other courses available to fit everybody's socioeconomic level right now. And as far as our Patreon, just go over there and look at them tiers and see for yourself. It's so much stuff that you can unlock on there. So if the courses don't resonate, or if they do, you want to do that, you can still get unlimited channeled messages, unlimited meditations, rituals that have a very specific custom design structure for those that resonate as being the chosen ones, that resonate as being the ones who volunteered to be on the front lines of the age of Aquarius. Yeah, big pyramid shit. And most of the strategies of alchemy and transmutation that I share, they are simple. They're not super complex. And you don't have to have a whole lot of stuff. Because for me, on my spiritual journey as a highly sensitive person, if I get overwhelmed, I'm not going to do as well with whatever that thing is that's being offered to me as a tool to help me. So I desire to simplify things. And some of those things are ancient teachings that's been around for a long time, where I've found ways to remove some of the complexity and it still be effective. And so something called Wu Wei wisdom is basically like effortless manifesting, right? And so I'm a very big student of Wu Wei wisdoms and the wisdom of the Tao and so many others. Like I said, I study everything. I see divinity in everything. And I reverse engineer if necessary, if it's something that seems to be wicked, evil, or bad. So, I have a Scorpio moon. That's just what I came here to do. So, yes. So I spent, I don't know, feel like about half an hour with y'all. But that is coming from a space of love and resonance. And when I start channeling, sometimes it just kind of, and I lose track of time. Maybe you did too, listening to this. So go to newverselive.com. Check out what we got going on. Check out Mighty Networks. We have a community there as well where you can share reels with us. You can share videos that you found that maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing in other spaces, because other spaces not as open-minded. We get it. We got that. And then the Patreon. I mean, it's so much material, So, yes, I thank you. I appreciate you for your support. Shout out to Vanita. Shout out to Tay. Shout out to Matthew. And if I missed anybody, shout out to each of you who have sent donations. We thank you so much for that. Shout out to Ane Osaro, Spiritual Shade Room. That's our family. It is what it is, Like, that's our family. And when you meet a soul fam, you just know. And you don't fall out with each other. You're gonna, it's a different type of relationship. It's unconditional. And I appreciate him so much, because as soon as he found out that I had a new development, which is an initiation. Illnesses are initiations. Until you are ready to learn the lessons, you can release them, right? And that's another conversation for another time. I'm continuing to do that. I've healed a lot of illnesses. So don't think because I got some other stuff going on, y'all, that I done fell off like hell, because y'all know how we get. She's supposed to be an herbalist, but her ass always sick. Y'all know how we get. I'm integrated with my shadow self, so I can tell you, I done did it. Y'all know how we do. But illness is initiation. Mental illness is initiation. It's a higher consciousness. You just have to have the tools and resonate with teachers and be consistent and committed, and you will see the results. So I have healed a lot of things, and maybe I'll do a video just about all of the things that I have healed and how I did it. If that's something you're interested in, just drop below. I'm like, yes, I would love to know how you deal with having chronic fatigue. I would love to know how you deal with, whatever. There's so many different things that like I said, my Atmacarica had me sign up to suffer many different forms of suffering. And that's what gave me the ability to resonate with so many people. So I have so much gangster gratitude for that. If I don't succeed at reaching the levels of success that the world told me was success, that's okay. Because I have my own idea of success. And that is the only thing that I strive for. And you're going to have a lot more peace in your life when you do this. So, Patreon, NewVerseLive.com, Mighty Networks, everything, everywhere we are, the links will be in the description. I hope to see y'all in this sacred camp. It's 10 days and it's pretty intensive, so that you can get some more things to have gangster gratitude about, right? Why not? Let the goal be gangster gratitude. Instead of being perfect, not having imperfections, trying to be flawless, right? Let's let that go. That culture is dead and it's not helpful. And it's one of the main reasons we struggle with loving ourselves and fear of intimacy in our relationships. And the universe is just not allowing the guardians of the galaxy to BS around this topic. Love is the most important topic right now. Love is the new currency right now. Okay? So if ain't nobody else told you, I'm telling you, let that be the focus. Anchoring more love and releasing anything that is not love. Any tool, any spiritual modality that resonates with you that you find, use it. You don't have to use our stuff. But I know for sure that this is what I was put here to do. And I know for sure that the impact we're having on the world, it matters. You matter. We matter. And we go continue to alter this spiritual season of Libra, bringing harmonious balance to the scales together. If you ain't new